All right. This time I'm going to be going over HTTP methods and static files. But first, I think I need to refactor this code or change it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, let's just put user here for now. And then I'm going to put photos here. And I guess I'm going to run it in the browser this time. And okay, so there we go. Uncomment that out. That looks okay. Okay, so HTTP methods. Web applications use different HTTP methods when accessing URLs. You should familiarize yourself with the HTTP methods as you work with Flask. By default, a route only answers to GET requests. You can use the methods argument of the route decorator to handle different HTTP methods. Okay, so web applications use different HTTP methods when accessing URLs. You should familiarize yourself with the HTTP methods as you work with Flask. So, if you don't know, there are a couple of different HTTP methods. There is get, put, post, patch, delete, trace, options, and head. I mean, I'm going to go over these briefly so you guys can know, but yeah, these are all what's available to you as far as methods in Flask. So we'll start with get. So the get method is used to send a request. So let's say I wanted to get a page or something like that or get some information, then what I would do is I would send a get request. So get, we're just gonna put sends request to receive information from the server. We have post. Now, post is pretty much you sending information. So let's say I wanted to update something or I don't know, add something like a photo or something, then I would post that to the server. So sends requests to add information to server. Now, these are very broad definitions. Of course, there's more detail, but these are or this is pretty much the general idea of them. So you have put. Now, put is pretty much like patch, except put you update an entire entity, whereas patch you update a part of that entity. So let's say I get a new bike and the tire broke and they send me a new bike. That would be similar to a put request. I didn't just fix the tire, I got a whole new bike. Whereas patch, you're just replacing the tire. So I get a bike, the tire breaks, they send me a new tire, that would be patch. So puts would be send requests to update entire entity, whereas patch, oh Lord, I cannot type today, sends requests to modify entity. Well, they both modify, so let me put modify here. It's just put updates the entire entity where patch is just a part. Now, we also have delete. So delete, and what delete does is it's used to delete whatever it is we're trying to delete. So you delete a photo, you delete uh, a post or something like that, you send a request to delete some information. So sends request to delete information. Now you also have, let's go with head. Now head is similar to get, except with head you don't receive a page. You just receive information about the document. So you receive the status line or the status code. So was the request successful? So 200, or was there client error? Was there a server error? You receive the status line, and then you also receive the header information. So header sends request and receives information without, I want to say, a web page. Or, yeah, let's just put web page here for now. So what you're going to get is pretty much what I said, the status code. And let me open this up a little bit here. What you're going to get pretty much is the status code and header information. If you don't know what request headers are is pretty much information about a request. So like I said, the status code, the type of the document, the type of content it is it an HTML document, just stuff like that. Now, you also have options. So with options is similar to get and head, except that you receive the options available to you as far as methods and other resources you could use on the server. So if I send an options request and I receive something back from the server, I'm going to receive, of course, the status code and the header information because again, this is like head and get, except with options, I'm also going to receive the options available to me as far as methods and things of that nature. So sends request and receives available methods for use and yeah, let's just say resources and other resources. Okay, so these are the ones that I'm familiar with. There may be more. Of course, I'm assuming there is more. There might not be. I don't know everything about programming, unfortunately. So yeah, but no. So if we go back here, it says by default a route only answers to GET request. So if you don't specify this methods here inside of your root, then by default it's going to accept GET request. You can use the methods argument of the root decorator to handle different HTTP methods. So this here is going to be the methods argument, as you can see. And we have a list of strings. Notice that they're all caps, the request or the methods. So of course they're, yeah, capitalized. And if get is present, Flask automatically adds support for the head method and handles head requests according to the HTTP RFC. Likewise, options is automatically implemented for you. So in other words, if you have get here, then they're automatically going to implement head and options for you. Now, static files. Dynamic web applications also need static files. Static files are non-changing files, so like photos, JavaScript, CSS, things of that nature. That's usually where the CSS and JavaScript files are coming from. That's what I just said. Ideally, your web server is configured to serve them for you, but during development, Flask can do that as well. Just create a folder called static in your package or next to your module, and it will be available as static or slash static on the application. Oh my goodness, my phone just started ringing. Okay, so I'm going to stop this right here and then I'm going to come back. Okay, sorry about that. So to generate URLs for static files, use the special static endpoint name. URL for static, the file name style.css. The file has to be stored on the file system as static/style.css. Okay, so pretty much what they're doing here is they're just generating a URL for our static directory to the file style.css. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually use this file when we're rendering templates. So when we're displaying images or we're loading JavaScript, CSS, what it's saying here pretty much, then that's when we're going to use this folder. Here, we're just going to use this to generate the URL. I mean, I'm going to do it just to show you guys, but this isn't really, we've done this already, so you don't really have to worry about this too much. So as you can see, I already have the static folder here and I have a file called index.js inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this for now. I'm also going to, yeah, since I'm going to run this in the server, I'm going to delete this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our about root and I'm going to return the URL for our static folder, and the file name is index.js. Okay, so everything looks good. Just gonna run the server real quick. Okay, restarting. Debugger pin running on port 5000. Just gonna open this up. We get hello universe because for my home route, that's what I have displayed. You may have something else. So what I'm gonna do is navigate to the about, and we should see the root for our static folder and the path to index.js, or the route to index.js, I should say. So I'm gonna put slash about here, enter, and as you can see, we get it displayed in the browser. So you see how we were able to do this in the browser, but with what I had earlier, with the text request context method. Wow, I can never say that. But with that method, we were able to run it inside the terminal. So that's what that request context object is used for, or that text object is used for. The test one, the test. Oh my goodness, the test request context object is used for, so we can run requests without actually running them like we just did here. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. I'm going to go over rendering templates in the next video, and then that's when we're actually going to load the stuff from our static folder. So